Okay, so a few days ago we made a video on this YouTube channel talking about Cole Caulfield and how good his goal scoring really was in comparison to other superstars in the National Hockey League. Well, in the comment section of that Reddit thread that we were talking about, there were a few hypothetical ideas that I thought would make for a very interesting video conversation. It comes to us in the form of the first comment here. Of course, if you needed the update, we talked in the last video just about how Cole Caulfield's goal scoring compared to other players, and spoiler alert, he was one of the top goal scorers in the league. If you go by goals per game, goals per 60, it's 5v5, etc., etc., the guy's good. The top comment on the Reddit post that we pulled from says this: "Imagine how more messed up this team would be if Caulfield didn't drop to us at 15. Also, throw in how much more effed up we would be if we got Cody Glass in the Pacioretty trade and not Suzuki." This is where you start to think about the hypotheticals. And because it's the off-season, because it's summer, because nothing's really going on, this is the prime time to stir the pot and bring up things from the past that nobody's really thinking about. Let's talk today about the Max Pacioretty trade and how the Montreal Canadiens got lucky with getting Nick Suzuki and their next captain rather than Cody Glass. Let's head back over into 2017, because this is the date that the Vegas Golden Knights entered the NHL's draft for the first time. This was their inaugural draft, and with it came 3 first-round picks that they had accrued from different deals with their expansion draft and other trades. It was a pretty big deal seeing Vegas bolster up their prospect pool in such a big way this early on into their existence. But if you take a look at that 2017 draft, you'll find that the Vegas Golden Knights had 3 great picks. At the 6th overall spot, you had Cody Glass taken, a player who was touted to being a solid two-way center who had the potential to become a top-line guy. Cody Glass was seen as just this all-round, versatile, shut-down, defensively responsible center who could get a boatload of points, who thinks the game at a really high level, never making the same mistake twice. He's analytical and patient in the development of his strengths, who transitions up the ice quickly and is able to create and dictate offensive chances on the rush. He attacks hard and fast consistently, and displays excellent puck control. His decision-making was very good, indicative of his high-level hockey sense. He played a complete game and elevated his play as his energy levels rose too. At the next level, he needed to be faster and more physically assertive to make his presence felt. All in all, though, he was seen as an intense, quick-thinking competitor who could elicit a crowd's excitement when he was on the ice. That was the scouting report for Cody Glass back in 2017, and from my memory, a lot of people were really saying this guy had legit top-line center potential, and if he wasn't a top-line guy, he could be a very solid number 2. He's big, he's right-handed, he has all the tools to be able to make it work at the next level. And so it was easy to see why Cody Glass was quote-unquote their top prospect after their inaugural draft. You then had yourselves the 13th overall pick, where the Vegas Golden Knights picked again, this time selecting Nick Suzuki. And Suzuki was seen as a lot less of the defensive shutdown center than Cody Glass. Suzuki was seen a lot more so as a playmaker who was smaller but a lot more nimble on his feet, who had great hockey instincts and smarts of his own, and was just getting better in the Owen Sound attack system in the OHL. The scouting report for him back from 2017 says he was a smart offensive center who thinks the game at a fast pace and makes very good decisions on a consistent basis. Though he may not be the biggest player, Suzuki plays a thick, sturdy game and is hard to knock off the puck, especially when he has his feet moving. He's an excellent skater that knows his own game well, and he's skilled with the puck and has a high level of hockey sense. This blend of talent and work ethic is hard to come by, and it's invaluable in the long run. Where Cody Glass was supposed to be the best center on Vegas in a few years, Nick Suzuki was supposed to be right there along behind him, being that 1A, 1B sort of tandem. You also had yourselves Erik Brannstrom, who was taken 2 picks after Suzuki. That was also a Vegas Golden Knights prospect. They were the 3 first picks the Vegas Golden Knights ever made: Cody Glass, Nick Suzuki, and Brannstrom. And then you had yourselves this sort of pattern emerge the next few seasons wherein the Vegas Golden Knights got competitive really quickly, and they decided that they wanted to start making trades. They traded away younger players and draft picks in order to get themselves players that'll help them win now. You saw a bunch of trades with Eric Bronstrom. That guy got sent over to Ottawa for Mark Stone. You then saw the Nick Suzuki Pacioretty trade, wherein the Montreal Canadiens got themselves Nick Suzuki, they got themselves Thomas Tatar, and they also got themselves another draft pick that was inevitably used to select Mattias Norlinder after a few extra trades. This was a pretty big win for the Habs, and especially looking at it now, Nick Suzuki is the captain of the team, he is the best player on the team, or at least he should be. You have Cole Caulfield that I would debate is more talented than Nick Suzuki, but Suzuki's leading the team every year, so we'll say for now he's the best player. And then you had yourselves Norlinder, who is a prospect that we've been very much high on the past few years. But let's go back over onto that trade, because, and I'm gonna have to get you to trust me here because there isn't any actual sources for this, it's just kind of the idea that was floating around back in that time frame. The Nick Suzuki Pacioretty trade was made at the start of the 2018 season. But back in 2018, there was a very common idea going around that the Montreal Canadiens were needing centers, and this was exemplified a lot back at the 2018 draft earlier that year. They took Jesperi Kotkaniemi 3rd overall. There's another what-if to be had there had the Canadiens took somebody else. But when it came to their desires in this Max Pacioretty trade where they shipped away their captain, they wanted a center prospect, and all the reports back at the time said that they wanted Cody Glass, the supposedly top-tier, shut-down, defensively-minded center with a great playmaking edge and goal-scoring touch too, who happened to be a big dude and who could be very versatile, and who just thought the game so well. The Habs' ultimate plan was to have Glass and KK as their 1A, 1B, in whichever order you may see fit. But the Vegas Golden Knights did not want to give up Glass, and so they sent Montreal Suzuki instead. Now, we know what happened as the years went on. Suzuki became great, but for Cody Glass, he unfortunately was not able to live up to that potential. He's grown slowly over the past few years. He had spent a lot of time in the NHL and the AHL, bouncing around up and down there, and to his credit, he was a great AHL player. Last year, in 21-22, he had 62 points in 66 Milwaukee Admirals games. But this previous season in the NHL, he had 35 points in 72 Nashville Predators games, so he definitely isn't in the same point production territory as Nick Suzuki is. He also had himself a trade as well. He went over to Nashville in a 3-team swap with the Philadelphia Flyers and the Knights. There was Nolan Patrick and Ryan Ellis, Philippe Myers, and a bunch of other guys involved in that 3-team transaction, but essentially Cody Glass went from Vegas to Nashville, where he ended up re-signing with the Preds earlier this week. $2.5 million AAV cap hit till the end of 2025, and right now is probably going to be the time where Cody Glass needs to really expand on the opportunity. He finally got himself a full NHL year with Nashville last season, so this upcoming year, he's going to have to do it again. He's going to have to be better, he's going to have to be stronger, he's going to have to be bigger. Because had Montreal gotten what they had wanted back in 2018 when they made the Pacioretty trade, you could say that things would be in a much different state right now. Nick Suzuki would be on Vegas. Who knows how good that team could have been if they had Suzuki and Pacioretty playing together. That would have been nuts. If Cody Glass is the 1-2 with KK, then that is a recipe for disaster because Kotkaniemi didn't really work out all too well either. Nick Suzuki, being as good as he is and being the guy the Canadiens ultimately got, was one of these canon events that really transformed the way the timelines would shape out. Because I don't know if Cody Glass would have had it in him to become the captain of the Montreal Canadiens and be as good as he was, or as good as Suzuki is, had he been given a different opportunity. You could debate that because Cody Glass was held so further back in the depth chart in Vegas, that's why his development was hindered. That's why he was never able to break out in the NHL, because they just didn't give him the chance. Who knows, maybe Nick Suzuki is doomed to the same fate. Maybe Suzuki becomes as good as he is with Montreal had he stuck around in Vegas. But one thing's for sure is that one small little preference the Vegas Golden Knights had over which prospects they valued more ended up shaping the sands of time for the better in the Montreal Canadiens' point of view. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Montreal Canadiens ultimately ending up with Nick Suzuki? And how do you think things would have been different had the Vegas Golden Knights just given in to Montreal's demands and giving them Cody Glass? How do you feel about that nightmare scenario of having Glass and Kotkaniemi as your 1-2 after all this time, when both of these guys have not lived up to their potential, Nick Suzuki is doing his thing, and the Montreal Canadiens are looking better for it? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.